Good peeps, Artemis is finally alive again.
Yeah.
I am here with JakewithTCG. Jake, what did you do last Saturday?
Last Saturday was the Vegas Regionals. We played Red Green Smoker. We got 33rd out of 1,024.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Pretty good showing. So we're just going to go through the deck profile. And so there's two different main archetypes in this deck, which are the Punk Hazard and the Navy cards.
Yep.
Our leader gives it plus 1,000 to each of these characters on our defensive side. So here's the Punk Hazard Searcher, which is 4 of these Virgos. So then you can find your Smokers and we'll go through it. And then this is your Kujakus, which helps you find your Navy cards. As for Punk Hazard, we have, and then Kujaku.
Real quick, did you ever use the active main?
Yeah, Kujaku can help you set up a lot of plays because you can give 1,000 to your Sanji, so then you can restand 2 Dawn early into the game. Like if you play out Kujaku on 1 Dawn and you play out Sanji on 3 Dawn, on your 3 Dawn turn, you can trash Kujaku, restand 2 Dawn, and then play something else out, which is either it can be another Searcher if you didn't find your Smokers on your first couple turns. It can be a Monet, which is our next card in the deck, or it can be Rosinantes, which is a 2-cost blocker, which also helps you set it for later in the game. Just getting more of those stuff on turn on the board as fast as possible.
And how often did you attack with the Searchers?
Actually a fair amount, because I had a lot of games against Bella Betty, which is an unfavored matchup for Smoker. So having our Searchers there to fight their Searchers is actually pretty helpful. So Monet's ability is activate main. You may rest this character, give up to 2 rested Dawn to one of your leaders or character cards, and then give up to your opponent's characters minus 1,000 power. So giving 2 extra Dawn to our banished character, which is Smoker, is really brutal because they always have to take that banish or they're going to pitch you a lot of cards. Even for clearing board, this is really good because you can do minus 2,000 and minus 1,000, and you can swing 2 over with your 2 rested Dawn.
Yep.
And in this meta, there's a lot of 7K cards that are really important. Like in the purple-black Luffy matchup, there's a 6-cost 7K Beer Luffy, which is what their deck kind of revolves around. And then in green-purple Luffy, their deck revolves around the Sanji Pudding, which is also another 6-cost 7,000 power. If you can play this and Honesty Impact, you can double board clear a lot of things. Say if they have anything rested on the board, you can go Honesty Impact minus 4,000 KO power. Offensively, this card is 6K. Your turn, this character gains plus 3,000 power, and on KO, draw a card. So this isn't always a card that you have to protect because you can always draw. But your leader also makes it a 4,000 power defensively, which gives you a chance to defend it if you really need to. And it's swinging for 6K, just being a 3-cost card is really strong. And like I was saying earlier, on our 3 Dawn card turn, we can do the combo between these two, get some restanded Dawn very early into the game.
Yep.
Another searchable card off of Virgo is Tony Chopper, which is a 4-cost 7,000 blocker for Smoker because plus 2,000, and then our leader ability makes it a 7K, which is really kind of disgusting.
Pretty insane.
Because it protects you against a lot of swings, and like Buggy has to attach Dawn to get through this, and Buggy doesn't really have a lot of leftover Dawn, which makes us pretty favored into that matchup. Even into green-purple Luffy, their leader will be a 6K power leader, and then being able to block with 7 is really strong into that.
Yep.
Next card is Tashigi, which is searchable through both of these cards because it's a dual archetype of Punk Hazard and Navy. It's a 2K, and it protects against a bunch of removal. So like in your blue-purple Luffy matchup, this will protect you against your Grav Blades, your Red Rocks, as long as you're able to keep it on the board. They have to only target this. It helps you in your Lucci matchup, which I actually had to face a Lucci second round, which is pretty scary because without your Tashigis and your Rosinante, your board's just gone. Green struggles really badly into this, but being able to search your Tashigis with both of these cards really helps you and gives you some consistency into Lucci. Somehow we were able to pull it off. I saw like 4 Tashigis that game. It was low-key crazy.
Yep.
Next card in the deck is Rosinante, which is like an amazing card. Green has a lot of really amazing cards because even if you rest this card, which a lot of people think that you might be able to rest it and go around it to protect Kid, but no, that's not actually the case. It also has removal protection in case if somebody tries to KO it. Now ready for our first one-of. I'm running a one-of Baccarat, which is you may trash a card from your hand. This leader gains 2,000 power for the battle. Or one of your leaders or character gains 2,000 power for the battle.
How often do you see this card? Because you can't search it.
Yeah, it's not searchable through both of these, but I saw it one time and I was actually able to get some value off of it. I was playing Smoker in OP10, and in OP10 I was running 4 Captain Kids and 4 Hodies. So this kind of saves you in a lot of those matchups, because if you have all of those bricks and you don't have any way to get rid of them and like start cycling through, your deck's gonna be really bricky. Right now we're running 3 Kids because there's too many games as Smoker where you're looking at your hand and it's just a bunch of bricks. Adding to that, I added Borsellino. So Borsellino is another blocker, which gives you more time to stall out and actually try and find your key pieces. It's searchable through Kujaku because it's navy film. The secondary effect is you may rest this character up to one of your navy leaders or characters that can attack active characters during this turn. So you can rest this character, give your Virgo the option to swing into one of green-purple Luffy's choppers just to clear it off of the board, and then you can swing with your banish. You can also give this to your leader against Bello Betty. This card is actually very key into Bello Betty because Smoker's a leader that struggles kind of badly into Bello because it's 4 life. This being a blocker is essentially giving you an extra life because they have to swing into this at some point. If it's rested, they still have to swing into it because it has so much value unrested next turn. And Bello Betty tries to do a lot of setup, like getting their board ready, or they're trying to save as many cards as possible for the future so then they can like do more powerful, more value swings. This upsets a lot of their tempo, and it also gives you that like pseudo extra life, which is really important. Now onto our Smokers. So the Smoker deck is kind of a linchpin flex. Linchpin meaning that there's one singular card that your deck revolves around. Like in green-purple Luffy, that card would be your Sanji Pudding. This is what you're hard searching for. If you can have this, you're going to get so much more value every single turn. Having 1 extra Dawn every single turn is actually stacks up a lot over time. And having Banish in this meta is so good because every deck ever needs cards in their hand, right? Being able to get 2 cards from somebody every single turn is pretty bad. And if they're able to take their life, it's so good for you because it gets around triggers. Like there's a lot of triggers in Bello Betty that you have to deal with, and then there's a lot of triggers in so many decks that you can just negate. Next card is our X-Drake. X-Drake is just a searchable 2K. Scared if we're going to whiff off of our Navy stuff, but now we have another 2K, so then you don't have to actually worry about that as often. Next, I'm running a one-of Dragon. So this actually came up in 2 of my games. It came up in one of them against a Bello Betty, and I needed extra Dawn for lethal because I was pretty behind because I was starving them the whole game. If you have a Smoker on board and you play out a Dragon, you're actually able to play with a lot more Dawn than you would if you were playing Hody, because Dragon gives you 2 Dawn on turn. So 2 rested Dawn on turn will be attached to something. So if you have Smoker, if you're on 10 Dawn and you're playing out a Dragon and you have Smoker on board, you have 1 Dawn from Smoker, 2 Dawn from your leader ability, 2 Dawn from Dragon being 8 cost, and 2 Dawn from playing Dragon. So you can swing with like 7 extra Dawn that turn if you have both of these, which is like really, really good. A lot of times people are playing around Hody, so they'll leave up 3 Dawn. If you play out Dragon, it kind of can get through that because maybe they're only playing for 1 Gum Gum. And then I tried playing this in my last matchup, and he found a 0-cost event off of his Gum Gum, and he like got out of it by 1K, but this was really close to being able to save us against Black Purple. And then and Bello Betty I was actually able to win just using all of that extra Dawn because I had a Smoker on board. I think I went 9-9-10 with my leader or something, which was like really good. And then next card in the deck is Hody. With all of the purple Luffys in this deck, I mean in this meta, you need Hody to be able to stop all of them Gum Gum Giants. Gum Gum Giants just so oppressive. It's really what's kind of shaping the meta right now. Like purple leaders are just running wild, but this kind of keeps them in check, forces them to make a lot less value plays if they really want to play around it. And if they don't play around it, you can punish super hard.
Yeah.
Next card in the deck, I'm running 3 Kids. Like I was saying earlier, Kids sometimes feels like a brick, but it is necessary in a lot of matchups. Like your Bello Betty matchup, if you can get to this card, you can survive out and just flip it on them. And against green purple Luffy, if you can get this, they don't really have that many great options. Like a lot of decks are running one of the Gamma Knife, but without Gamma Knife, they have to attach too much Dawn, and like it really steps them back. Then I think Rafael Nevid was the guy who got 4th place or top 4 in Dublin, and he suggested in one of his videos that you should do 2 of each event. So we're running 2 of the Gum Gum Mole Pistol, which gets rid of a 7,000 power, or you can clear a blocker and something else. This trigger is amazing. If you have a Smoker on board or a Chopper on board early and you hit this trigger, you can KO one of their cards for free. It's actually so brutal. Honesty Impact is amazing because you can do a bunch of double board clearing now with when comboed with the Monet. You can get rid of a 7k and you can clear something else by minusing 4,000 power. And if you have Monet, Borsellino, and Honesty Impact, you can get rid of 2 active characters very easily, which is really brutal. Next is our 10-layer Igloo, which is our counter event. This counter event's so good because it can get rid of 2 attacks into you. Like, instead of it being, this one card can get out of 2 things, and like if you're down in card size and hand size, being able to get out of 2 attacks with just 1 card is really important. It's plus 3,000 minus 2,000, which is really insane.
Nice. Quick question: did you ever play the X Drake?
Oh, against blue purple Luffy, we ended up losing, but he kept being able to get rid of my smokers, so I actually had to play the X Drake, which was kind of crazy. In all of my other matchups, I didn't really have to.
Any changes you would make to the list in hindsight?
I didn't see Kid that often, but I was able to kind of get away with it by having these Borsellinos. Like, my deck list is running 12 blockers right now across the Baccarat, the Borsellinos, Tony Chopper, and Rosinante, so you can kind of stall out for a while. Maybe Baccarat. A lot of people are running Baccarats and Dragons as the tech options instead of Borsellinos. They would have another Baccarat and another Dragon instead of this. This really helped me against Bello Betty. Like, I had to face 3 Bello Bettys, and without this, I lost.
Yeah. And then how often did your triggers come up?
Against Bello Betty, I actually saw this quite a bit. Like, they struggle hard playing around the triggers because they're not going to have that much done a lot of the times to like really attach and like defend things. This saved me. And like with how much searching you're doing, you can kind of get an idea of what's going to be in your life. Like if you search enough with both of these cards, which I was actually able to in a lot of the matchups, I was like, oh, I haven't seen any of my counter events, or I haven't seen my kids. I kind of have to take this life if I want to see my kid in pivot, or if I want to try and get like a counter event ready for next turn.
All right, well, we've talked about the matchups briefly while talking about the cards. Why not give a quick summary of all your matchups?
My first round, I think I played against a black purple Luffy, which is a favorite matchup for us. I ended up losing in the last round to black purple Luffy, who got 3rd place in Swiss. I took first from him, which is favored for us, but I still wasn't able to actually pull through. On his first turn, or his second turn, going second, he played out this card. And I had no 5-drop to play on my 5-Dawn turn, but I had these 2 cards and this card. I preemptively used Borsellino's ability and Monet's ability to try and get rid of this card, but I knew that he was going to drop the Beer Luffy the next turn, and having Honesty Impact, I could have actually, instead of just clearing the Frankie that turn, I could have actually board cleared all of his things with just these two. Like if I saved for the next turn I could have done Monet ability, minus 1,000 power, Honesty Impact, KO is 6,000 minus 4,000 KO is 6 or less. Then Borsellino ability, attack active, and I would have been able to clear both of these in the same turn. That's what I should have done, but instead I just solo targeted the Frankie. Pretty big throw by me. I would have made it into the top 32 if I didn't do that, which is fucking crazy.
You live and learn.
But he did a really good job of not letting me resolve my Hodies either. Like he had 3 Dawn up, and he had a grab the Gamma Knife ready for my kid. Like he was in a good spot. Next game I played out my second game I played against Lucci, which we were able to beat. Like I got pretty lucky. My third game was against Purple Luffy. Purple Luffy and Smoker used to go at it back in OP10 when Smoker was first released, and Purple Luffy was like kind of like one of the better decks in the game. That's a really strong die roll game because both Smoker and Purple Luffy have such a strong going first curve that like if either of them doesn't get first, they're gonna have a hard time keeping up with each other. So I was able to just keep putting on the pressure. He played out a Katakuri, and I was able to have an Honesty Impact ready for that, and like he kept doing. He big mommed one of my Smokers, and I played out another Smoker. I just kept searching. Like he did so much to upset my curve, but I just kept going with it. It was pretty good. And then my fourth game played against Blue Purple Luffy. I didn't have any Tashigis to protect my Smokers, so then he kept getting away with like bottom decking them or top of lifing them, which was kind of hard. I think like my next 3 games were like all Bello Betties, which is pretty crazy. Bello Betties were all like really good players. I just happened to see some triggers, and then the Borsellinos came up in some of the games because I couldn't find Kid. I was only able to find Kid in one of the games. After finding Kid, I kind of knew I was safe. One of the games was the games that I had to play out Dragon, and then I had to go through Lethal in a really kind of crazy spot. And then in my other game, I had a Hody. I rested their whole board, and then I had just enough swings to go 2 over all of their swings because they were pitching enough cards for me to know that I had guaranteed kills on all of them. I think I went 2 over on 3/5 cost and 2 over on a 6 cost because I had a Hody, and I just had perfect math to get rid of everything and then still have a blocker on board and still have a counter in my hand.
I see.
And then I faced another green-purple Luffy. I was able to... I didn't actually see my Kid, which kind of sucks because that's a matchup you really want to see your Kid. But just having enough blockers and enough banish really put him at a disadvantage in card size, and then just try to control him from there. I don't think I had any like really off-meta matches, but I was really lucky I was playing Borsellino, or all those Bello betting matches were pretty cooked.
Yeah, Bello Betty was so popular this Vegas.
Very popular.
Yeah. Why did you pick Smoker, of all things, to bring to this tournament? I know you were debating between Smoker or Bonnie. What made you go to the final decision to pick Smoker?
Yeah, so I picked up Bonnie like 2 weeks ago during one of the starter deck battles because I was able to win with it. I really liked how controlling it was, and I really liked green because I played Smoker in OP10. Bonnie was doing well for me at a lot of my locals, but then one of my locals I realized that I didn't have enough reps as the leader because one game against GP I forgot to leader ability 3 turns in a row, which is pretty crazy. And then so I was like, I needed to play a leader that I can play consistently for 10 rounds because I really wanted to go the distance with Smoker. I mean, in the regional. I was like, Smoker and Bonnie have a similar kind of matchup spread where they're able to beat a lot of the decks that lose to Kid, but Bonnie's more favored into aggro decks than Smoker is, but Smoker is more favored into UP. So I was like, I want to be able to beat UP more consistently because I didn't have enough reps as Bonnie. And then I felt like I had enough reps as Smoker into Bello Betty because I played a lot of Bello Betties as Smoker when it was OP10. So I kind of went back with my old reliable, which was Smoker. And it did well for me. I didn't forget my leader ability any turn. Obviously really good. But yeah, Bonnie did as well as I expected it to be. I really thought Bonnie and Smoker are both really good picks. I just wanted to do what was a comfort pick for me. Obviously, Bonnie made it into the top 32 more than Smoker. No Smokers. I did the best out of them at Vegas.
Yeah, highest placing Smoker here.
Yeah. But it was fun. That was my first regional. I just got into card games in January. So, really exciting.
Absolutely amazing, dude. Any shout outs you want to give?
Shout out King Kong. Shout out Games of Livermore. Shout out like the Bay Area. And like all the people I met, like visiting all the different locals. Like I went to Vegas and Arizona, so I kind of knew the guys there. So just really fun. Really like the community.
And do you have plans to play Smoker like in the future, like for the rest of this format or OP12?
Good chance that I actually play him at Nationals. Just stick on all reliable because National invites were passed down for this regional and because it's kind of late into the format. So 33rd obviously got one, and then a good amount of people in the top 64. Smoker's getting some support with that Dracula Mihawk 8 cost that is coming out for Zoro, which is the on play you restand for Dawn. And it's kind of, it might be able to replace Kid, I think, as a blocker. And just, Smoker should be able to survive a good amount into the next format.
What would you say beats Smoker?
Smoker loses to aggro, right? Like Bello Betty, Bonnie's supposed to be better into the more aggro decks, but because we added all of those Borsalinos, I would say that this deck list is pretty favored across the board. I would say Smoker kind of loses it to itself because during OP10 and EBO2, there were so many games I played where I was just looking at my deck and it was just a bunch of Captain Kids and Hodies, and like you can't do anything when it's like that. So that's kind of why a lot of people are on the Baccarots. Having enough blockers to really stall out helped me, I felt, because there were some games where I had bad hands and like just stalling. I was able to actually find and outpace these guys in the end game.
All right. Well, thank you, JakewithTCG. See you at Nats, bro.
Yeah, see you there.